Football is an international sport, the most international sport in the world. The World Cup is often high on many of the most watched events list, with its only competition often being the Olympic Games. However, there are certain countries that enjoy this sport more than others, and those tend to be the ones that win the most. So what is the football capital of the world? Well, I've made a list of cities and countries that won the World Cup, and we'll be categorizing them based off the following rules. Domestic league titles won by said city, continental titles, and international titles. Let's start in Europe with the birthplace of football in the United Kingdom, but only England because Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland haven't won World Cups. In London, only 3 clubs have won the title, and those are Arsenal, Tottenham, and Chelsea, Arsenal having the most at 13. The city has 21 league titles and 2 Champions Leagues. They haven't won any Intercontinental Cups, however. While England's national team almost always plays at Wembley, the capital of football in England is often heatedly debated, whether if it's in the north or the south. The first city of note is Manchester. Now, non-football fans will immediately recognize Manchester United. United has won 20 titles, the most of any club in England. But we also have the new kids on the block in Manchester City, who have 7 titles. Overall, this accounts for 27 domestic league wins. They also have 3 Champions League and 2 international titles. Now, if you were born in the 1990s, most of your lifetime has been dominated by the Manchester clubs. However, there's another city in England that also has a say, and that city is Liverpool. While they've only won 1 international title, which is 1 less than Manchester, the city of Liverpool has won between 28 titles and 6 Champions Leagues, and this is split in between 2 clubs. It's not just Liverpool, also Everton has won 9 titles here. Although England has the biggest football culture in the world, there are more cities to call out. Going east, we have 2-time world champions France. The first city when you think of France is Paris. So if you're a non-football fan, you'd be surprised to know that Paris hasn't had much success in football history. Paris Saint-Germain are the dominant club there, and they're the dominant club in France as well. However, it's not always been like that. Paris only has 10 domestic titles, 9 of which are from PSG and the other from Racing du Paris. So what is the most successful footballing city in France? That honor goes to Marseille. Marseille has won 9 league titles, which is 1 less than Paris. However, they're the only French club to win a Champions League. That little stat right there has a lot of value. It should also be noted that Zinedine Zidane is from Marseille, so take that as you will. Going south of the border, we have Spain. Spain have always been kind of underachievers at international level, as they only have 1 World Cup. However, the same cannot be said for club level. Barcelona and Real Madrid are 2 of the biggest clubs in the world, and we're going to take a look at Barcelona as a city first. Barcelona, the city, have 26 titles and 5 Champions League wins. They have also won 3 Club World Cups. Although this is a very recognizable football city, only 1 club has won titles here, and that is Barcelona. If we head west a bit, we have Madrid. While not many clubs have impacted here either, more have done so than in Catalonia. Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid are 2 clubs that have won titles. Combined, both of the clubs have assembled 45 league titles and 13 Champions League wins. They also have 8 titles at international level. While Real Madrid is the only club in the city to have won a Champions League, Atletico Madrid has actually won a few Intercontinental Cups. That is largely due to some teams not participating in the tournament as due. Now, there's always been a problem in Spain with the TV money being split between 2 teams, but their international success is undeniable. So now we move on to Germany, who are 4-time world champions. Of all the capital cities we've looked at, Berlin has to be the poorest one of them all. We've talked about how underwhelming London and Paris can be. However, Berlin has 0 Bundesliga titles in total and 0 international titles. Now, it should be noted that the country was split in 2 after the Second World War. In West Germany and East Germany. We're going by official titles here, and we're talking about West Germany. Even though teams like Dynamo Dresden has had its success in East Germany, they aren't counted as official as part of the Bundesliga. Now, while Berlin does have an iconic stadium in the Olympiastadion, most of Germany's success can be attributed to this city right here in Munich. Munich has had more than a few clubs in the top flight. However, the most successful one is obviously Bayern Munich. In total, the city has 30 league titles and 6 Champions League wins. Bayern are without a doubt one of the biggest clubs in the world, and while the English created football, it is often said the Germans revolutionized it. Take that as you will, but Lineker's saying says it all. As he said, football is a game where 22 players chase the ball around for 90 minutes, and in the end the Germans always win. And the reason this quote stuck around is because it's pretty much true. Now there's one more European country to look at, and that is Italy. Italy are 4-time world champions, and of course the first place we gotta look at is the capital in Rome. Rome is another kind of underwhelming capital, but it's not as low as Berlin or Paris. Between two clubs, Rome only has 5 league titles in its trophy cabinet. This is split between Roma and Lazio. A lot of iconic footballers have also played here, like Francesco Totti and Gabriele Battistuta. It isn't the most diverse, however. It is equaled with Milan. Milan is one of the most traditional football cities in the world. Between Internazionale and AC Milan, they have won 37 league titles and 10 Champions Leagues. They are also one of the highest winners of international titles, at 7. However, there is one more city that has 2 clubs that have dominated in the past. That city is Turin in Piemonte. You would think Juventus is the only club that have dominated here. However though, Torino also have a few league titles. Juventus have 36 and Torino have 7, so in total, Turin has the most titles of any Italian city at 43. Despite this, they have less Champions League titles. Most of Torino's success was before the formation of the tournament, so as of the moment, only Juventus have Champions League wins, and that is at 2. They have also won both of the Intercontinental Cups they appeared in. So that does it for the World Cup winners in Europe. However, there are more in South America, so let's start with Brazil. Now Brazil has plenty of cities we can pick out. However, we are going to start with the most iconic of them all, and that is Rio de Janeiro. Rio de Janeiro have 18 league titles and 3 Libertadores wins. The city certainly has diversity. While only 2 teams have won continental titles, 4 teams have won the league. Those are Flamengo, Vasco da Gama, Fluminense, and Botafogo. However, despite being a truly iconic city and the first one many think of when they see Brazil, they are a little bit in the lumping category. It's completely overshadowed by its neighbor Sao Paulo. Sao Paulo has 32 league wins, 9 Libertadores wins, and 7 international titles. They are without a doubt the most successful city in Brazil. You can also make the argument that the best footballers come from Paulista football. Some of the best footballers in the world have come from Brazil, such as Pelé and Neymar. And not only that, but they have the most diversity out of any city we've looked at so far. 5 clubs have won the league here. Just to backtrack a little bit, the previous most we've had was London in 3 clubs. However, they are not the city with the most diversity on this list. That honor goes to Montevideo. Now, that said, almost every club in Uruguayan football is based in this city. It is one of the most capital-centric in South America, so this is slightly cheating a bit. We're not going to check over the domestic champions here, as that would be very redundant. However, for a country of their size, 8 continental titles and 6 international titles. Now let's not forget the 2 World Cups that Uruguay have won as well. The continental titles is split only between Peñarol and Nacional. That alone is still more diverse continental champions than most countries. Crossing the Rio de la Plata, we reach Argentina, who have just as many world titles as Uruguay do. The first place you would look, obviously, is the capital in Buenos Aires. The number of titles here will at first sound absurd. Buenos Aires in total has over 150 league titles. There are 2 reasons for this number. Firstly, the split seasons. For those who know about it, there's nothing else to say. For those who don't know it, there are 2 split seasons in Argentina. Firstly, the Campeonato Metropolitano Nacional, and later on it became the Apertura and Clausura. One was played in the first half of the year, and the second in the second half of the year. Now, while it is true that some countries have Apertura and Clausuras that don't give official titles, in Argentina this was indeed the case, where there were 2 champions per year. And the second reason is because of the Buenos Aires centrism in the country. Now, the Apertura and Clausura are completely different to the Metropolitano and Nacional tournaments which I mentioned. Both were split seasons. However, the Metropolitano and Nacional tournaments came first, in the 60s. So, a little history lesson. Before 1967, there was only 1 full tournament in Argentina. Since Argentina is a big country, it simply wasn't feasible to play with such low technology a nationwide tournament. So as a result, the entire championship was Buenos Aires based. Now there were a few exceptions to the rule. Rosario, with clubs like Rosario Central and Newell's Old Boys, did participate in these old tournaments. However, if you look at the leagues, it was almost 90% Buenos Aires based. In 1967, they introduced the Metropolitano and Nacional tournaments. The Metropolitano tournament will be the old format, just Buenos Aires based, and it will be played in the first half of the year. The Nacional tournament will be nationwide, but instead of one big league table, it will be split into groups, and it was played in the second half of the year. So again, similar to Montevideo, this could be seen as cheating, considering its history. The official title number in Argentina is a little bit skewed thanks to this. In Brazil, you might be aware of the state championships that are still played to this day. The state champions were the old tournaments and the most important ones before the 60s. Brazil is a bigger country than Argentina and had the same problems. However, on the contrary, the state championships are only official to the region. The official number in Brazil is as of the formation of the Brasileirão. As for Argentina, every title counted before 1967 is counted as official, so the regional tournaments elsewhere that didn't play in the official championship were completely disregarded. However, you still cannot count out how successful they've been as a football country and city overall. Buenos Aires in total has 25 Libertadores titles. They also have 9 international titles, almost all of them Intercontinental Cups, and none of them Club World Cups. However, this total is still higher than any of the others we've looked at so far. So what is your take after seeing this video? While Europe without a doubt is the most dominant continent today, we're going to stick to Brazil. They have the most World Cups in total at 5, and just about every country in Europe has a few Brazilians playing there. Brazil is the most footballers abroad at 2,700. This is almost 400 more than second place in Argentina. And despite Rio de Janeiro's iconic football moments in the Maracanã, we're going to stick to Sao Paulo for the footballing capital of the world.